have your fear, which might become reality. And you have Godzilla, which is reality.
I'm sick of Godzilla. Wake up, everyone! There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
We're safe enough. No human being can understand that. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
Whether he returns or not, or is never again seen by human eyes, the things he has taught us remain.
Hello, everybody. We're back. I'm excited about this episode. First of all, Jay, how you doing?
You know, I'm doing good. It's been, once again, it's going back to that thing where it feels like it's been a while since we've chatted because you've been jet setting across the world, but it hasn't actually been that long. But I'm excited to be back with the Tattooed Titan of Tokusatsu and chat some, an interesting film and some toy news and some other great stuff. So yeah, it's always good.
I'm excited to talk about this movie, the toy news. I'm excited to show off some stuff. And and thank you for doing that episode a couple weeks ago with Ryan and John. I popped in for a minute.
Did.
I had just gotten back from London the day before. And I was like sitting around. I saw you guys going live, so I jumped in for a few. But I didn't watch your Ultraman review because I haven't watched season 3 of Ultraman yet. And I was like, let me back out of this. But thanks for doing that while I was gone.
Yeah, no worries. Those guys are great. It was super fun, and I was excited to talk about the anime. I felt like it kind of snuck in on everybody's like Netflix feeds, and not a lot of people.
I didn't even know
about it.
I didn't even know, Jay. I was like. I was literally like watching and I'm like, oh, the show's back. That's what it is. I was like,
and it also had a second season that I totally, that's what you get when you release something before the pandemic. And then after it, you have like a little mini 6-episode season tucked in there. And then, here's another final season. So yeah, it was fun.
Is the final season 6 episodes or is it back to like,
it's 12. I think it's 13, 6 and 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, boy, I forgot all about it, and I'm glad. I literally thought you guys were doing a review of Ultraman season 3, and I was like, "Why did they pick season 3 of Ultraman?" But
which would be, let's see, season 3. Depends if you count Ultra Q. If
I was like, "What
Return
is
of Return of Ultraman?" That would be funny. I'm sure we'll do that.
Speaking of Ultraman, you did a top 10 Ultra Q. Video that's on the channel, and I watched it and I loved it. I was a little surprised with a couple of your I was surprised that you put I don't know the name of the episode, but your number 2, I was surprised with that one, and I haven't seen it in a long time.
The 1/8 project,
the 1/8 project, but I do not remember watching that episode and being like, "Oh, this is my favorite episode." So,
it's funny. I think if you would have if I would have done it just after. Like my first time I watched Ultra Q, like during the pandemic, right? Like early pandemic watching.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have put it up there, but I've watched that episode a lot and I really, really like it. And I think as I've done these top 10s, I realized that a lot of my picks have been, it's a lot of the usual suspects. Like almost everybody has a certain handful of them. And then some of my kind of wackier ones, are really wacky and out there, but it's kind of my top 10 and I want them to be different than everybody's. And so you can have those conversations. And I think on my Ultra 7, my number 1, I did Return of the Non-Malt. And that's a episode that people like, but it's not one that's usually picked as number 1. And it's absolutely my favorite episode of Ultra 7. So Ultra Q, I don't know if my number 1 was that shocking. I think it's one that everybody likes.
It's the best episode.
It's so good. Yeah. But number 2 definitely I think was, and there's a couple other ones. I mean, I know Baron Spider I had higher than a lot of folks, and some other ones. So, but hopefully, if anything, Jake, while you're watching it, it at least came across and as like, here's why I picked it, and here's why I like it. That's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good episodes. I think most of my favorites were on there. Maybe in different order, but they were on there. So it did make me want to put Ultra Q on immediately. I started as I was watching it, I was getting on like eBay and like looking online. I was like, let me see what kind of Ultra Q stuff's out here. Like that I
It's
just
funny you
don't have.
mentioned that. Probably not tonight, and I don't know if it'll be the next time we record, but I might have me some Ultra Q stuff coming in on a weekly pickup.
Oh, fuck. Now I'm annoyed because I don't have
Yeah,
Ultra Q stuff coming. Well, cool. Do you wanna jump into pickups or what we watched?
We can do what we watch. I haven't watched a lot, to be honest with you. I've been really. I blame Ryan Wilhelm after we started chatting off air after we recorded our live episode. We were chatting just stuff that we're watching, and he's going back and rewatching the original Kamen Rider. I know we did an episode where we did like the first couple of episodes, and I was like, I haven't watched that in a while. So I've been just going back and, watching 1 or 2 episodes a night. And I love that show. It's so good. And I think I also was kind of on a high after watching Shin Kamen Rider that I was like, I want to go back and watch some stuff. And it's so great. And it's a fun, there's nothing else like it. Right. And so I've been watching a little bit of that. So maybe I take a break from the Ultra series, even though I'm like halfway done with like 50 episodes into Return of Ultraman. And I do my next top 10. I do Kamen Rider, but there's like 90 episodes in Kamen Rider, so it's
you
not.
need to knock that out in a weekend.
I don't think so. Oh man,
put the kids to bed.
Yeah, watch some Kamen Rider.
Don't bother me. I'm watching Kamen Rider.
Yeah, but it's been good. It's been so fun, and I'm a little nervous about going down some of the Safubi the rabbit hole for some of the villains in that, and their Safubi form, because there's some wacky ones out there. So
I'm trying to look and see. I'm just looking down at notes here. I want to go ahead and say this since we're talking about Kamen Rider. Did you put the Hot Toys on the?
I didn't. And the only reason is I didn't. Well, 2 reasons. One, I forgot, and B, if I did remember, I actually don't know a lot about those 2 particular Kamen Riders that they were doing. So I wouldn't be able to add a lot of insight.
I'd never really seen them before, but I thought they looked amazing. I just think it's cool that Hot Toys is jumping into that kind of stuff. I was like, are they going to do an Ultraman now? Are they going to start doing other, Japanese thing? That'd be great.
It'd be great.
So,
Like then Hot Toys versus X Plus battle would be amazing.
Yeah. Did you watch anything else, or was it just
No, besides the movie we're going to talk about today, I haven't. Yeah. It's been really just Kamen Rider, and then prepping for G-Fest. It's kind of in that last minute push towards the final, less than a month away. So I've been really collecting all my inventory, and I'm gonna have I lost count, but I think over 100 new items that I'm gonna be debuting at G-Fest. I mean, a lot, and it won't be on the site. So it's pretty ridiculous. I feel like I could do a separate store with just the stuff that I'm getting for G-Fest, because it's some cool stuff.
That's awesome.
From a lot of vintage Marmot, some cool Marasan stuff, some Onraku. I'm trying to be a lot different than what I saw last time as a fan, and then knowing who else is coming, and what they bring to the table. I want to try to be something a little bit different.
You're being strategic about it. I don't think I don't want to say all of them. I don't want to lump everybody together, but I don't think a lot of other sellers at conventions do the kind of thinking where they're like, well, there's a lot of this, so let me not bring this.
Yeah. It's more the opposite sometimes.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, everybody's going to want a bunch of Funko Pops. Let me bring a bunch of Funko Pops. But,
oh my gosh, I was thinking the same thing. That's when you end up with a convention where 80% of the dealers are Funko Pops.
Yeah, it's Dragon Con.
No, I don't.
Every other convention I've been to.
Yeah, so I felt like some of the big misses there were last year they didn't have a lot of smaller Safubi, like the US Toys, the Yamanayas, Max Toy, things like that. I'm going to bring a good healthy smattering of that. And then, some big, obviously showcase pieces for the folks that really want to, open up their wallets, and I'll open up my heart to them. And, and then, so a lot of I'm bringing a lot of Marasan 450 pieces, a lot of bigger stuff, and some really unique stuff. And then just a lot of really cool older stuff that, it's something that you're not going to just be able to hop onto Mandarake or eBay or whatever and find. And so I'm hoping everybody enjoys it. We'll see. And if not, it'll be on the site after G-Fest, and everybody else can buy it. So
there you go. It's a win-win. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. It's a win-win. Actually, it'll probably show up at Kaiju Go after that. So for those in Dallas, you'll have a second shot at it, whatever doesn't sell.
Yeah, there you go. As far as watching things, I've been kind of slowly going back through Singular Point, which is I don't know, a perfect show. It's like the best thing I've ever seen. I love Singular Point. But other than that, the only other thing I watched that I feel like I have kind of a habit of bringing up movies that aren't really kaiju movies on here. But I watched this movie called The Black Demon. Have you heard of this? It's a new
I have
movie.
not, no.
It's about a megalodon. It's a megalodon movie. And the reason I watched it, well, I'm gonna watch. It's got a shark in it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I was about to say
But the trailer came out, and it looks like it looked like the movie was taking itself a little more serious than the Meg was, and I liked that about it. It looked kind of scary. I mean, as scary as a movie like that can be. And also, I liked the idea. I liked the plot. The plot was that it takes place out like on an oil rig, and the shark is like, it's literally like, a legend, and it's like a shark that Mother Earth put forth to, it's sort of like a revenge for people destroying. It's around the oil rig because the oil rig's polluting the water and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, that's awesome. I like that. And the Black Demon is like a real legend, within folklore and shit. So I was like, oh, this will be cool. The movie's awful. The movie's so bad. The trailer makes it look really. I was like, man, they put together a good trailer. The writing's really bad, the acting's really bad, and the shark is barely in the movie. It sucked. But there's whatever. I paid for it. I was like, I'm gonna buy this movie because it was the only way you could rent it. Yeah. It's just such a bummer, dude. I was so bummed out by this fucking movie.
Next time, just don't buy it and go put on some Kamen Rider, and you'll never be disappointed.
But I hype myself up for movies like that. Yeah. And especially because the trailer made it look like, I was like, they're trying to make a good shark movie, Yeah. I just hyped myself up for it. And I was like, this thing's going to be good. It's going to be awesome. And like, we're watching it, and I'm just like, holy fuck, they did not accomplish that. It is so bad. I couldn't believe how opposite it was of what I thought it was going to be. So in a perfect world, Jake, I have a question. In a perfect world, would you have giant shark movie or giant crocodilian alligator whatever movie? Which one do you think would be your dream? Like if you had to make one and had to be one of your two favorite animals and ones that have done movies already that you love and adore, would it be alligator crocodile, or would it be shark, or would it be like Asylum? I'm sure they did a crocodile versus shark one. I'm sure they did that somewhere. Mean, both of these movies that you're describing all already exist, but I don't know, man. For some reason, I feel like shark movies can be scarier than the alligator movies, and I don't know if that's because that's a little more realistic. Like a shark being, huge is, I don't know. Yeah. It's just not megalodon size huge, but like sharks are big already. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just, I don't know. That seems scarier. The ocean is scarier to me than a swamp. Yeah. I think it's because of the vastness, the deepness, and the, how dark and unknowing it is. When I see a swamp, that's beautiful to me. Yeah. The open ocean is fucking terrifying. Yeah. I think sharks are scarier. I like alligators a lot, but I think sharks are scarier.
And I feel that shark movies also it's a harder thing to do because you're always compared to one of the most iconic movies ever made, where there hasn't quite been the alligator crocodile one hit that level quite yet. I know you love many of them, but I mean,
there's a couple good ones, but there's no Jaws for alligators out there.
It's like every monster movie has to be compared to Godzilla. It's like, it's not fair, only some can beat it, the X from Outer Space. There's Yamato Takeru.
Jay, there's a movie. It just got put on Blu-ray, and I might pick it up. And it's just called Crocodile. But it came out, and there's multiple versions of it. There's a version I own it on VHS, but my VHS is called Killer Crocodile.
Mhm.
And you can tell the movie was like, it's kind of like edited together for multiple projects.
Mhm.
And sometimes, most of the time, the crocodile is kaiju sized, like opening its mouth and people just funneling into, like,
Yeah.
huge. And then sometimes it looks like a regular sized crocodile.
Yeah. I think
It's
you've
because-
mentioned that to me before. I think
it's
you've
because they
yeah.
edited. Yeah, but maybe we did talk about it, because there's a scene where it like destroys a village. It like causes this huge. It like swims up to a village, swims and splashes and causes these huge waves, and destroys the whole village and eats everybody. And there's just people screaming in it. They're just falling
Yeah.
into its mouth. But that reminded me, there is like a kaiju sized crocodile movie out there. And I literally saw it today that a company is releasing it on Blu-ray, like, for the first time, which is cool.
Nice. That seems very like SRS Cinema, right in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's not them, but it is like a similar. It's like, I think it was Severin Films or something. I think it might have been them. I don't know. Jay, you got some toys? Did
You know,
get toys?
I did. I got two.
Okay.
Very different. Very, very different. The first one, you know, we both I've been on the Rocom Toys Death Jaguar train for a long time. Like, we've always loved them. You know, I know we both have the original. We think we have the X-ray variant that came out at DesignerCon 2 years ago, maybe.
I'm trying to look.
And they do a lot of great ones. Yeah, I mean, they're great. So I decided to pick up the one that was the Ultraman inspired colorway that they just released. It was a great price, and so I picked him up, and he arrived this week. I got his gun hand. I usually do the axe hand, but I gave him the gun hand, and I'm actually going to display him in between my other ones, but with the head on the back. So he's going to be I think he's going to be like my protagonist, and the other guys are going to be evil. So I'm going to do I'm gonna display him like this.
They can't all have axe hands.
It'll go nice, but you know, they can't all have axe hands. That's right. But anyway, this guy, it's upside down, man. You'll be able to shoot that. Yeah, I love this guy. Rocom does such good stuff. This is one of the indie toys, Safubi toys, US based, that have like a recurring character. I mean, Death Jaguar's at the top of that list.
I love it.
They do great stuff. I mean, they are just really, 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 really good at what they do. So I was excited to pick that one up. I don't know. I remember, I don't know if it was Designer Con or maybe San Diego Comic Con. I can't remember, but I remember you sharing with me when they did one of these shows that they released all these like from the vault, and they had one. They had an Ultraman, which was a little bit different than this one. They had like a Luke Skywalker one. They had some other ones. And
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. I know they went for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars each, and there's only one. But I hope they do go back to that and re-release some of those, even if it's more like kind of the larger production runs, because they were so neat and they were really cool.
I really like the Luke Skywalker one.
Yeah. And it's also cool to like, because Death Jaguar is not a large media property, to be able to tie it in with other fandoms that you like, but done in a cool way. I don't know. I think it'll be neat. I hope they do some more stuff like this, because I really like this colorway. The other thing I got, we've been talking about for a while since we debuted it in one of our news sections, and it finally arrived. It was a pre-order. And I don't know, my X Plus collecting has gone down substantially, but there's going to be a few that I have to get. And there hasn't been really a great Safubi representation of this guy outside of the Max Toy one that just released, but very different scale. So, and I got the Rick version of this one, but I'm not going to light up his spines here because I'm just not. But I got the Godzilla Ultima.
Oh my god, dude!
Large Monster Series X Plus. I absolutely love this guy. And you mentioned you're watching Singular Point. I think I might start rewatching that one again. I love it so much. And this is one of my favorite designs. Oh, as he kicks the microphone. But this is he's a big mamma jamma. His as we have to deal with tails a lot in our business. Huge tail. Comes with a tail stand, so you're good. But I love the skull.
A good one.
I loved it. X Plus, with the animated figure, they did a wonderful, wonderful job. And the detail on the dorsal plates, and like I said, these do light up, but the scale stuff, even for an X Plus, where they are almost flawless when it comes to a lot of their texturing and their scaling on Godzilla. I felt that they went one step beyond with this one, and this is just an excellent piece. It's one of my favorite of X Plus that I have already. I really do. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, it's cool to see an X Plus. Usually, you're seeing the X Plus figures are versions of movie suits.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is the cartoon and you're kind of seeing an interpretation of that is really cool. Did X Plus do any of the Godzillas for the anime series?
Oh man, I don't think so, but I could be wrong on that. I don't.
Because now I want that, but I want that too. That's a cool toy. Man.
They did the ride, the Godzilla the ride, which is a great figure, really really good figure. But this was their being able to transition it from animation to this. They did a wonderful job. It's a great piece of work from X Plus. So I'm really excited to add that to the X Plus collection. And I only have like one more X Plus thing in the pre-order hopper at the 68 Godzilla store. But that's it. It's like I'm not saying my X Plus collecting days are done. I'm just saying like
Don't say that.
I know I've been very strategic about it.
You say that, and then tonight you buy two.
I know, right?
That's a curse. You can't say something like that.
I gotta hold off. I gotta hold off until my Spiral Studios GMK comes because I got to see how big of a footprint that is before I can put them these other things around. So I'm in a little bit of a holding pattern.
When's that supposed to show up? Soon, right? Aren't people getting them or?
They were supposed to ship in June. I know there was some delays, but they've been very transparent and forthcoming and great. And everything's been wonderful. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks that would be great. I'm really excited for that piece.
Speaking of X Plus, I did pre-order that the Shin Godzilla where he's got and like I was looking at it's beautiful. It is not my favorite of the Shin that they've released so far, but I got that second form Shin X Plus. That was my first X Plus. It is maybe my favorite. And I was like, I have to get this toy. Like it's really cool, but
it's a great price.
Yeah, it's a good price, but I know it's gonna fuck me up, and I'm gonna want that other the third form.
The third form.
Really gonna want a third, and then I'm gonna want like just the standing Shin, normal standing closed mouth Shin. I'm gonna want that. I'm gonna want the whole evolution, evolutionary chart of Shin X Plus Godzillas. So I had to get it because I knew if I didn't. It's one of those toys where I look at it, I'm like, fuck, I really want this. But then I'm like, but I also just bought a Spiral, legendary Godzilla. Do I want to chill out? But it's one where if I don't get it, I'll hate myself when it comes out. When it's sold out and I can't get it, and I have to ask you to find it for me, and it's $600, I'll hate myself.
Well, that's like the third form now. Those third forms are trickier to find. By the day.
Well, it was hard. Remember, it was a little hard for us to find that second form at the time. I mean, that was a while back, but
yeah, I mean, it's not one that it's kind of like there's always one or two there, but it's not like you have the pick of the litter. The third form, I don't know. I mean, it's been even pricier than the second form. And I mean, it always has been, but like even the gap has been separating even more, at least from what I've seen. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that one. But I mean, they're all good. They're all good.
All X Plus is good.
That's a no.
So
what'd you get, dude?
I picked up a couple things, and I teased these on the show 2 weeks ago. Whenever you guys were doing the Ultraman. So I was at a hotel. It's like 5 a.m. I woke up. We'd gotten back from London, and our time was, still weird. So I had like gotten used to London time by the time we got back to, the United States. And we had to do a bit of driving. So we were at a hotel. I woke up really early. I was the only one up, and I was like, I'm going to get on eBay and I'm going to start doing some searching.
Bad choice.
And what happened, I can tell you exactly what happened. There's an account that I follow on Instagram, Godzilla account, and he posted a toy. And it's a toy that I've looked for before, one that I've wanted, one that's been on my list. But when I saw the picture, I was like, hey, you know what? I haven't searched for this for a while. Let me go look. So I get on eBay and I look, and I find the exact toy First time I've ever seen it for sale. And on top of that, he's the seller.
Oh, nice.
The Instagram person is the seller. And their Instagram post didn't say, hey, this is for sale, find me on eBay. It was just, here's a Godzilla toy. They also have an eBay store, which I now follow. So, but I did find, Jay, you know what this is, but I found a Godzilla Land flocked Godzilla toy.
Look at that guy. Look at that little bastard.
Yep. He's a little, I think he used to all be this color.
Mm-hmm.
He used to all be green, but I'm guessing all of these flocked toys that are, I mean, this thing is.
You know what? Honestly, I kind of like it like that. I got like the little patchwork. It's almost like a Safubi, like some spray.
It looks purposeful. Yeah. It's like right on his face and in back here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Pick this guy up. Now, he sent along a couple extras. It was this, and then he sent along this little what are these called? These are the milk. Yeah. Lady Milk, I think is what they're called. Lady Milk Godzilla, which now I want more of these.
Oh,
now I want these
awesome.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is beautiful. It's got a little purse. This is the coolest fucking. I love this.
Yeah, all those milk ones are great. Yeah, they're awesome. They're all the different, like, I don't know, occupations, the flight attendant one and all that, whatever all they are. There's so many good ones.
Now what's crazy is like these were in the listing together.
Mm-hmm.
But he also sent a little Ultraman, which I forgot, and it's on a shelf in another room.
Nice.
But there's a little Ultraman that also came along with it.
Nice.
But
first you don't join our Ultraman anime discussion, and now you're not even showing off your Ultraman toys. What is your problem with Ultraman?
I'm trying to see if it's in here. I think it's on a shelf in the living room where I would grab him. But I was so shocked to find this on eBay because literally, like Jay, we've been looking for Godzilla Land and Lit Goji stuff for a long time.
Podcast.
It is my number, like finding the Godzilla Land stuff is my number one. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Now here's the really crazy part. So I said I've never seen this for sale before. I've definitely never also found the King Ghidorah flocked.
Yeah.
This was also different seller.
Look at that condition.
Yeah,
it's so good. I mean,
you can tell that also the color, it's a little brighter on the back of the wings, but it still had this part of the box. So when you buy these figures, there's a little plastic dome, or like a square over it. But I mean, the fact that it's got the cardboard in really good condition, and it's got some of the kaiju on the side, Godzilla, King Ghidorah, and there's a Mothra here. I could not believe it, dude. To find two of these in one day, I was super shocked. I know that these came out in different colors.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a green Ghidorah. I think there might be a yellow one. There's also a flocked Mothra that exists.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know if there's any more beyond those three.
Okay.
Those I know for sure because those are what I've seen pictures of. But I do know I have seen Ghidorah in multiple colors.
Yeah.
So I know I'm assuming if Ghidorah is in multiple colors, then Godzilla and Mothra are too.
You would think. I'm shocked, but I've seen a lot of the Ghidorahs pop up, the yellow and the pink, but they're stained. They're kind of they're in rough shape, right? That one looks great.
It was good. And the Ghidorah was a little expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a price where I said, I'm fucking buying this immediately.
Yeah.
It wasn't a think twice kind of price, but it
wasn't zero.
It was, triple what I paid for the Godzilla.
Yeah.
The Godzilla I thought was cheap. And I don't know if he sold it cheap because of the discoloration and no box. But I mean, look, it's even still got the fucking sticker on the box.
I love that. That's so cool.
So does Ghidorah have a sticker? No sticker on Ghidorah, but yeah, I love them. That's my kind of thing. I love those little weird flocked Godzilla toys. It's beautiful. So
yeah.
And since I bought those, I've been on I've just been Googling, looking for more. I'm like, God, I got to find more of them. I'm like, I want to start finding some of the toys and I want to start finding some of the erasers, the Kenshi.
Yeah.
They did a lot of
the Keshi. Yeah.
Yeah, Keshi, that's it. They did a lot of Godzilla Land erasers, and they're
Yeah.
really cool. And I've never seen those either for sale, but there's a lot of them. It's. I wish I could remember the YouTube channel. There's a Godzilla YouTube channel that I really like, and he did. What's the guy's name who wears the Godzilla mask?
Oh, Monster Island Buddies.
Is it just Monster Island Buddies? Yeah.
Yeah.
He has put out a really amazing 2-part Godzilla Land video, and that's how I've found out some of these toys even exist. Is he's got a good collection of that stuff, and I just screenshot his videos, and then I'm like, all right, I gotta find this.
You gotta find this one. Yeah.
Let me find this thing. So those are my pickups. They're little, but those were on my more Godzilla Land and Litgoji stuff were on my top 10 list for what I want to be picking up. So I'm happy to found those.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I feel like those 2 toy lines specifically, like, I just feel they were like documented so poorly. There's always like stuff that you never thought existed. It's like, this exists. What is this? Yeah. It's like, it's like when we found like the Destroya stuff from Litgoji. It's like, well, they did one. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's just
the like little coffee cup with Space Godzilla on it. It's like, what is this?
I sold the there's one that had like the chopsticks and the silverware in there, the plasticware and like the bowl. There's just lots of cool stuff. And Godzilla even is even bigger, had more merchandise than even Lit. So there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff there. I'm sure you're gonna find on that journey. That's awesome, man.
I'm gonna get it all. So I guess we got a good bit of news to go through.
Yeah, before we get into the toy news, there's a couple. I mean, it's actually not super crazy. Definitely some stuff worth talking about. But I gotta ask, I don't know when this is airing or dropping, or actually, I guess it's today. I don't know. Anyway, but have you watched Skull Island on Netflix? Is that out? Is it out today?
Jay, I didn't even know. I saw I saw the notes for this, and I was like, "Oh fuck, is that out?" I have still been trying to catch up on watching things, and I've been watching Black Mirror all week, and I just finished that. They put a new season of Black Mirror out, and completely forgot that Skull Island. I feel like there's not a ton of advertising.
It's tomorrow.
Okay, so well then I don't feel as bad being like, oh, a kaiju thing was out and I didn't watch it immediately. Yeah. So no, I haven't watched it.
See, I had. So but when this drops, we'll probably drop it right around the same time they will. No, we'll be a few hours later. So maybe the next time we chat, maybe we'll have watched it. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I'm not quite as excited as I am for the Gamera stuff, but I'm in September, but I am pretty pumped about it, and I think it'll be good. It looks good. It looks like fun and easy to watch. But so let's talk some toy news. We have a couple toy items, and that's it. It's some pretty fun stuff. Hold on. All righty. Talk about your good buddies over at Mondo. So the first question is, since the last time we spoke, they had a drop. They dropped the first variant, I think the midnight bluish, I don't know what the official name was, of the Rodan with the Mothra larva. So I'm going to ask, did you get it? Did you pick this one up?
No, I did not. Mainly because I forgot and I was at work. But listen, I'm going to Comic-Con in a month from now. And I have a feeling, maybe not this one, but I have a feeling Rodan's going to be for sale. Yeah. Maybe they will have this one because last year when I went to Comic-Con, they had said that they were going to have the Cherry Blossom Jet Jaguar for sale, but they also had leftovers of the other Jet Jaguars for sale. So I'm assuming there will be my thoughts are that the Space Godzilla that we're looking at is probably going to be for sale at Comic-Con, and there's probably going to be a different Rodan for sale at Comic-Con, and possible leftovers of this Rodan. I don't know. And I will buy whatever they have. I don't know what's going to be there for sale, but I'm going to get it.
Nice. Yeah, I did not as well, but it was not by choice. I literally was caught in a meeting and couldn't get out. And that happens. And Mondo dropped. It's like, you snooze, you lose. And I'm glad, 150 other people were able to get theirs. I love the colorway. I think this is great. I love the sculpt. Beautiful. I love everything about it. I wanted to get it. However, I do think I might And I discovered this after I didn't get it. I was trying to rationalize myself. Okay, Jay, it's okay. It'll be okay, man. But it's because I'm not like by any means a completist. I'm not collecting more than like one of each of these kaiju they release.
Right.
And I'm not really collecting one colorway, so I'm kind of mixing it up. And I do have the Biollante in that similar midnight blue, midnight blossom, midnight whatever it's called. So that's what I'm keeping on that one. So I might wait and get a different colorway with Rodan. So I'm okay. I'm okay waiting, you know, and I'll be okay, but I wanted to get it. I would have got it had I been able to. And I hope this thing does really well, because I think the sculpt is great.
I like the red eyes on it. I like the Mothra. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about Safubi is when you can make me want a character that I don't give a fuck about. And Rodan's not like, I've never really cared about Rodan that much. I've never loved Rodan, but this toy is cool. This is a Rodan I would buy. Yeah.
So I think the bigger news though from Mondo than even like the drop of this Rodan were some of the stuff that they teased us at the licensing expo, at some other things. And you already made a mention of the pink, the cherry blossom Space Godzilla, which this would be the third release if it's the next one. If it indeed is the next one, there could be another one they sneak in there. But beyond the standard and the Trendmasters, I love this. Cherry Blossom, the Mondo Cherry Blossom has not been one. In fact, I've had the Cherry Blossom Jet and the Cherry Blossom Biollante, and I've sold them. I'm like, I don't love these. But for some reason, I think if I get this one, I'm not going to sell it.
Yeah. And then you're going to be bummed that you can't put it beside your Cherry Blossom Jet Jaguar. I also own the Cherry Blossom Jet and Biollante, and I love them both. I think for some reason, you know, but I felt like you. I didn't think the Godzilla and the Hedorah Cherry Blossom weren't my favorite.
Yeah,
I think on the Jet, it really it shines on Jet. It looks really good on that sculpt. But I will buy this. Yeah. This is the kind of thing where like, if this one goes on sale online, I might skip it. But if they have this in person at Comic-Con for sale, I'll probably buy it. I'll probably go ahead and buy it.
Yeah. So good. So the next one I want to talk about, I remember when we did, I think it was our top 10 episode list. You also threw in a news item that I left out, and I'm glad you did, was like the first kind of sketches and releases and stuff of the James Groman 54 with the skeleton and everything. And now they have the prototype out. And so this was, I believe, I don't know if this was at his design studio or was this at Licensing Expo. I don't know, but this was at, there was some convention that just happened, and the Space Godzilla and this were both revealed. Yeah, notice the background, and the Mecha Godzilla, they all have like that brick background. So it's the same place. But you have to be pretty pumped that it's coming.
That's a must buy for me. That's 100% first day must buy. Yeah, that is the coolest sculpt to me. And you know, Heisei Godzilla is my favorite, and the fact that it comes with the interchangeable head, hand, and tail, where it's like, you know, the guts and the blood. I love it. That I'm super excited to get that toy. Yeah,
and I mean, to get him to do one for Mondo is great, and I know that hopefully they'll get him signed on to do some more stuff. But I have a feeling, I don't know what the run size is going to be on this one. I have a feeling this one's going to get gobbled up really quickly.
Yeah, I'm scared about it.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, but I love it. I don't know if it's a buy for me, not because of how good it is. It's just like, it doesn't necessarily fit my collecting aesthetic. But it's done by a master craftsman, and it's a beautiful design. And like, if it's sitting there and it's available, maybe I do pick it up just because it's so good. I don't know what the price is going to be on it. I'm also a little nervous about that because they could probably charge an arm and a leg for it.
I hope not. I feel like the Space Godzilla, I can't remember what I paid. Do you remember what Space Godzillas are?
125? Was it 150? 125?
Okay, so that's about the same as the Biolantes were 125 as well. I figure the Biollante or Space Godzilla's big. You know what I mean? I feel like that's been one of the biggest things they've done so far. So I don't know. So, I can't imagine this guy being more, is what I'm saying. But
But maybe you just never know. The Groman name attached to it, you just never know.
Exactly.
Speaking of popular names attached to it, how about the last one? Our buddy, your buddy, friend of the podcast, the great Attack Peter, teasing his next release, this Attack Peter-ish style, but more so than, much different than his Attack Peter statue for Godzilla he did. This thing for this Mecha Godzilla Showa era, holy cow. Now this for me is a day one must buy, wait in line, throw some bows at little children in line in front of me type. This is excellent, and I can't wait to have this on the shelf. This is a home run.
I agree, man. We had Attack Peter and Hector on Toy Anxiety last night, so anybody listening, you can go back. There's some Kaiju talking there, but we are going to have them on this show pretty soon. When it gets closer to release time for this Mechagodzilla. It kind of bums me out that I don't have the Attack Peter statue. I wasn't able to get it. I wasn't able to get it when it came out, and it just wasn't something that I ever went back and tried to pick up. But seeing this, I love this.
Yeah.
This to me is so, like, the black like designs on it. It almost looks like flames on his shoulders.
Yeah,
it's just
perfect.
looks, yeah, it is perfect. And I'm also getting this 100%. Like, these are all four of these are amazing figures.
Yeah. I rarely ever do this in collecting. In fact, I'm quite the opposite. I never like save spaces on shelves, but I have the space like with the Godzilla statue, and I have a print behind it and stuff. Like, I have a place for it right up there. And I don't even know when this thing can come out in like 2027.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I have a place saved for it. So I hope I get it, but B, hope it comes out soon. So I think it's a home run. Mondo, some big stuff coming up. I mean, these are all like excellent, like heavy hitting releases. So great stuff from Mondo.
I'm assuming all of this stuff will at least be on display at Comic-Con.
Yeah, so steal me one.
It'd be cool to see. Yeah, just gonna grab it. Yeah.
They can make another. Okay, moving on from our good buddies at Mondo. Okay, so I got to talk about this one. This is something that I know a lot of people have been getting stressed out in a good way about. So we talked about before Wonderfest came out. You know, I know Mark Nagata and Max Toy had those images on Instagram he released about, hey, here are my Shin Gomez and my Shin Ultraman sculpts, and it was the unpainted kind of the beige one of the Shin Gomez, and everybody's freaking out. Yeah, it's amazing. We can't wait. And then on his side, he's been, was teasing like, hey, like we are going to have these released in the US as well. So I've been kind of collecting all of the different releases of these because there's been a few different ways and a few different colorways already released. The big four, the four that I could find that have had pretty decent releases, a lot of fanfare around them, have been these four sets, 3 in Japan and 1 in the US. And so I wanted to put this out there for everybody as they're trying to collect and start building their checklists for their Max Toy Shin Gomez and Shin Ultraman, because I feel the Max Toy Shin Gomez is freaking amazing and is like a figure of the year quality. So the ones that we have so far, the Beams, which is a store in Japan, the Beams retailer lottery exclusive, which the lottery entries just ended like a couple days ago before we recorded. That one's coming as a figure set, like $100. That one will be released in Japan. That is kind of the I say classic, the classic Shin, from a movie last year, but the red and silver and kind of the all black ish Shin Gomez. So it's kind of a cool classic like movie. You could put that in a movie and you'd be good to go. The Max Toys, the ones that we just got the update on this week, that both have already sold out on the website, which is amazing.
Before I could get to them.
I know, right? The Shin Ultraman is almost similar, has a little bit more of a darker wash on it, but it's very similar to the Beams lottery exclusive. I haven't seen them in person to tell the difference, but it
looks more metallic to me.
Yeah.
So whatever the paint job makes it look more metallic.
Yeah. And I want to have these in person because you just never know, like with the photography, it's not apples to apples. The Shin Gomez is awesome and has kind of that gold yellowy type thing on the back, highlighting kind of down the dorsal spines and stuff. So it has a little bit more, I think, dimension than the Beams one. So that one looks really cool, but those are sold out as well. The bottom two are awesome. The Wonder Toy Convention in Osaka Volume 2. These are my favorite. It's the green because it's with the energy consumption. So he's wearing down, he's turning green, and it's this blue Shin Gomez. These things are amazing. They're out there on the secondhand market right now. I have a couple coming to Toku Toy Town of the Wonder Toy Convention one. I absolutely love these. Are probably my favorite. And then the last one of the Osaka Comic-Con exclusive, which was the all silver and then the heavy black with the silver Shin Gomez. So these are the 4 sets that I'm aware of. Now, by the time this drops, Max Toy could release 17 more. Who knows? But these are kind of the big 4. I'm really excited as people start showing these off in their collections because I think it's some of the best stuff Max Toy has done recently.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree with you about which ones are my favorite, the green and blue. Ever since I saw Shin Ultraman, I was like, I want some green Ultraman stuff. They just look good. So yeah, the green and the blue, those they're beautiful. I mean, Max Toy always just knocks it out of the park. These are all great.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what I know right now. Some of these, like I said, have already sold out. Some of them are just hitting the secondhand market. So guys, go out there and buy them. They're amazing. Yeah. Support Max Toy Co. Okay, just a couple one-offs. These are some updates that people have probably already seen on some other sites, but I wanted to call them out because I think they're cool. Number 1, another Unraku. And you know what? I apologize. There's a typo in here. There's no Japan Festival. That was a copy and paste error. But this is just I know the Unraku and Saku, the lottery exclusive. This is the 3rd variation that they're doing on Godzilla 2000. And I think this one is wacky. It's just really almost like
it hurts my eyes.
I know, almost neon / you shined a light on some green, and then a darker green on the back with that vibrant magenta-y spine. So really, really cool. This lottery is going on right now. You have until July 10th to enter it. It's a November release. It's not that expensive. I was about to say, look at that fucking price. That's ridiculous. That's a good price for an Unraku. 3 times that when it goes on the secondhand market, man. And so, but I love this. We've talked about on this show since the day we started it, how we are on the Godzilla 2000 is on the lower end of our suit designs. And I say, both the 99 suit from Godzilla 2000 and the 2000 suit from Mega Gearus. But I will say, having seen the other ones in person, Unraku does a really good job with this sculpt, and they actually look really cool. So I'm sure this one will be no different from this colorway standpoint. The other one we were talking about off air, funny enough, and it's X Plus, and they are releasing in their Daikaiju line, the large monster series, a 25 centimeter, a new Godzilla 92, both a Rick and a standard. This thing's coming out soon. It's already up on the Japanese X Plus site, the Shonen Rick site, but it is not on the North America version yet. As of the time we're recording this, let's hope it does get on there because this will be an inexpensive way, relatively speaking, for somebody to get a really cool Heisei era Godzilla from X Plus. I love it. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, same. I mean, Heisei Godzilla is my favorite, and X Plus, dude. It looks great. It's cheap. We were, like you just said, we were talking about it off air because I was talking about how I've been going back and forth with whether or not I wanted to buy it. Having other X Plus on pre-order right now, do I want to get 2? But yeah, I think I might.
Yeah, I'm hoping it comes up on the site here shortly so folks can start in the US start buying it and feel good about it. So the other thing I want to bring up, and this is definitely a coming soon, but you sent me this when we started leaking more of this, CCP. They do a lot of Sofubi. We talk about their Hedras a lot and their Gigands and some of their mid-size Sofubi, but they've been releasing these images of the prototypes and even displaying them at some shows of this, the model kit that they're basing on, the King of Curiosities model kit that they're basing this one on. This bad boy is going to be over 12 inches tall. We know it's going to, that price is wrong. I think they haven't released that yet. So I apologize for that. That's another copy and paste error. But it's based on the kit. We don't know the release date. I'm super excited though. I think this is really cool. And I think it's better than a lot of the other CCP sculpts for other kaiju they've done. They've never been my favorite. This one has some hope. I have some hope that this one might be really strong.
A lot of Space Godzilla love happening.
I know.
Recently, and I'm into it. I love it.
Me too. And the last thing is just, we always got to talk about when Bandai releases some movie monster stuff, and Godzilla Store is doing a 73, which, those Godzillas go for a lot on the original, the 73, 74, some of those Showa era Godzilla Bandai movie monsters can get pretty pricey. I love this one. They're releasing it. You can get this one right now in the Godzilla Store through their relationship with Bai. So go get it. Right now it's like 3,300 yen. And you can get yourself a really cool 6-inch-ish Godzilla 73. I mean, it's his birthday year.
Yeah.
So get it. It's his birth year. But it's always fun when there's new, really cool movie monster stuff out there.
Yeah, I agree. All good stuff.
And then last but not least, and I hate how this has updated my slides and changed all my fonts. I promise this was much better looking in the original font.
It looks fine.
But anyway, what this text does say is this Friday, June 23rd, 1 p.m. Eastern, that's noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 10 o'clock Pacific. If you're in the U.S., I don't know any international time zones, but they are releasing the second wave of the Artisan Dynasty from Spiral Toy, Godzilla 2019. This is kind of the burning variant, if you will, with the bright orange, the bright yellow, and it looks excellent. I absolutely love this. I'm assuming it's going to be the same price as the other one. But yeah, home run here. And I think this one will sell out. I think maybe even before the first one.
My only critique with these are they are releasing these too close together.
Yes.
These are kind of expensive, and I did get the first one. It's beautiful, but I'm like, there's no way I'm getting more of these. Like, unless they reveal one that's just like mind blowing to me, I'm probably just gonna stick with the first release. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful toy. But it was only like what, a couple weeks ago. I mean, 3 or 4 weeks ago that first one came out. So
I mean, I talked about it on the live show with Ryan and John, asking Ryan if he bought it or if he pre-ordered it. So
I think it was right. Yeah, it was right before or during my trip, because I remember buying this and X Plus Shin Godzilla in the same night and being like, cool, going to London tomorrow. Let me drop $600 on Godzilla toy.
I agree. I think, I'm glad that they have these and they can get them out quickly, but this isn't for me because I mean, when you know these people that are doing this, it's going to be great quality. I feel very confident. But like for a lot of people, anything you buy that's a collectible that's $250, you want to have one in your hand to kind of like validate how good it is before you buy another one.
Multiples,
and especially the same sculpt, right? So like if this would have been the release of their first, Mothra or their first, Rodan or whatever, it's a little bit different. But it's the same sculpt, different variant. I almost wish that they could have had it in hand and like almost had that word of mouth and that hype, like, oh my God, I gotta have more of these. Now, that's in a perfect world. It's one of those, I feel toy companies, especially these indie toy companies, because you have us on here going, I wish they would slow down, and then like, I wish they would make more and speed up, so it's like, I get it's hard. No matter what, it's never perfect, but I'm like you, I'm probably going to hold off on this one and understand I might have to pay a lot more on the secondhand market because I want to have that first one in hand. And the good news is they're coming soon. So it's not like I'm going to have to wait a year. They're not going to Super 7 us, but I think I'll.
When are these supposed to come out?
I think these are supposed to ship in July or October. I think July.
Whoa, that's super soon.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's good news. I've gotten used to pre-ordering toys and not seeing them for a year.
I know. This is like not even a real pre-order because it's just delayed shipping.
That's awesome.
Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna fact check myself because I'm a little worried. Let's see the first one.
It's gonna say 2024.
I know, right? And it totally
it's July, but 2024.
Estimated arrival July 2023.
Cool.
And there's a few of the first ones left. So
I hate that. I wish they were sold out.
Yeah.
I wish they were sold out. Yeah.
I'm sure Spiral Toy does as well. But
I mean,
I'm sure they will.
They're not sold out because people don't like it.
No.
They are a little pricey. And I think it's the fact that it's a little pricey. And also I think some people are probably iffy I'm buying Legendary Godzilla Safubi, and I get it, but
I think those are very valid
great.
and true.
It looks great.
I think this could be one where once these kind of get out in the wild and people see them displayed at shows and really like US based shows, because obviously I know they've been, Wonderfest and other great places. I do feel that they won't last as long as maybe the first one did. I hope I'm right, because I want these guys to keep producing with really cool stuff. And I really think that, and this is not a critique on them, but I hope, because they do have something that's so cool and so unique about, they have these amazing artisans, these amazing like big wigs, who's who in the world of sculpting and painting and everything within the kaiju community. Like, they need to highlight that even more, I think, to some of the US market and stuff, because I think these are a little bit different than just your normal Safubi that gets released. I think there are some cool touches to it. And so I'm excited for that word to even get out more. And I think they could do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all I got, man. That's all I got on news.
All right. Well, then we'll jump over. We'll jump over to this main topic. Then we're an hour in already. It's like so easy for us to just talk. Like, sometimes I look up and I see the time. I'm like, what? I've been talking for 5 minutes.
And hey, Latitude Zero deserves all the time in the world.
Sure. We're going to talk about this movie, Latitude Zero, which I did not know too much about until you brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
But why don't you give us like a little bit of a rundown of what this movie is about? Yeah.
So it's the reason I threw it out there to talk about this week was, I'm sitting there and I was rewatching it and I was just looking at the credits, the opening credits, and it's like, director Ashiro Honda. You have Akira Ifukube doing the score. You have Tsuburaya in the special effects. You have, Tanaka producing. You have Sekizawa writing. You have, starring Akira Takarada and Akiko Harada. Like this is like the A team of A teams from like Toho. And this is like 1969, so we're still, in the 60s and stuff. But I mean, holy cow! Like on paper, that's your, if you could draft the all-star team, that's it right there. Like that is great. Yeah. And then you throw in, two legitimate acting stars. I mean, obviously Joseph Cotten from, he's brilliant, Citizen Kane and whatnot. Like, he's a legitimate Hollywood star actor that, when he was Orson Welles' favorite actor. So like, he has to be pretty damn good. And then now, not necessarily in that level of film, but on TV, you have Cesar Romero coming off, playing one of the greatest villains on TV, right? Yeah. And the Joker, Batman. So you have two like brands, viable people to push this movie with Joseph Cotten and Cesar Romero on top of that. And then, the other folks that kind of filter in, they're all great. And then I'm like, how did this movie flop? How did like just on paper, this is one of those movies that should have been really good. And it should have made a lot of money. And I say flop, like, we'll get to like whether we liked it or not, but I'm talking just like it made less than half of its money back. Yeah. And this was a disaster. And I know there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we're not going to talk about because we're not one of those podcasts that, reads off Wikipedia and just says, here's, the stuff. But at the end of the day, like,
and I didn't read the Wikipedia. So I have no idea what you're talking about.
I promise we do that. But there's those podcasts that are just like, this movie has a runtime of 12 minutes. But anyway, the whole thing about like, I get there was some financial stuff, whatever, but this movie, like, it was a co-promotion between Japan, Toho, and the US. It was filmed entirely in English. That's why you have Takarada and Harada going through their lines, learning them phonetically and speaking. Those are their real voices. But at the end of the day, this movie was a failure. And so I thought it would be fun for us to talk about a movie that we don't talk about, that some people do like, some people don't like. There's been varying degrees of love for it. But at the end of the day, it's like all of our favorite heroes of Toho that gave us the best era of Godzilla, basically giving us a financial clunker. So that was kind of the background. The movie itself, the plot is, it's kind of at some points very simple and there's not much to it. And in some ways, like, it's very complex, but it was based off of some radio serials from the 40s. And essentially there's this place in the middle of the earth at latitude 0 underwater, this civilization of people that go missing on the surface, these great brilliant scientists and leaders and stuff that really change it. They basically have built this utopian society down below, and are slowly but surely influencing and helping the people up top. And when the human race is ready, they're going to bestow all of their secrets and everything. But of course, that has to be challenged by an evil, maniacal, megalomaniac type villain. And that's where, enter Cesar Romero. And it's about a couple of people, I don't know, crusters, people that live on the crust. They, stumble upon it and kind of thrown into that society, and you follow them as they learn about it, and then try to escape the clutches of the evil Malik and his, evil henchmen, various degrees of costuming. And it's a funky, wacky, weird, trippy 70s type show. And a lot of stuff, it's like, okay, like you don't really question it. It's just like, it's there. Like, I'm 200 years old. I'm whatever. Like, and so it's one of those where the plot's a little bit hard to summarize because it is a little bit out there and there's some weird, wacky elements, but it exists and it has a lot of famous people in it.
Yeah. It's definitely a weird movie. And it did a lot of times remind me of like some of the old, like 50s sci-fi movies that I used to see on TV. Like the acting is very, especially like the guy who, I don't remember his name, but the guy who like finds them after they first get lost in the ocean. The guy who the older dude who finds them just really reminded me of like just old sci-fi stuff. You mentioned the costumes. Best part of the movie.
Yes.
The costumes are insane. They are insane.
Yeah.
And they never bring attention to the costume. They never mention them. There's no like mention of the weird shit. People are wearing like see-through plastic at some point. Like, it is just, all of the costumes are baffling. They're insane, but they're awesome.
I mean, the only mention, right, is like they talk about the gold that they use. It's like, that's like the material that help like repellent or whatever. Like, that's really, really about it. The costuming is great. I do think it's so hilarious seeing, Mackenzie, you're talking about Joseph Cotten, like this amazing, this actor that has done so much in American cinema. And like they dress him up as, and I read this from somebody on one review I was reading on it. They dressed him up like Charles Nelson Riley. I mean, he had like the open jackets with like the scarves, and like he had just some random stuff, but yet he's still delivering his lines like classic Hollywood. And like nothing's going on. But you're right, they don't make a big deal about it, and it's like but it's like you sit there and like the visuals in it, and it's just trippy and wacky, and I don't know. I really like. I think it's a fun film because of it looks like a fun film, and it just looks cool, and the costuming is a huge part of that. Yeah,
I think so too. It's not a movie that I'm gonna find myself rewatching like a lot, but I did enjoy it. I did have fun with it. I liked there's like this great kind of weird submarine chase towards the beginning, where they're just two submarines chasing each other underwater. And it's cool to see more underwater miniature stuff like that. That's all fun. The creatures are fun.
Yes.
But I wonder if the failure of the movie has to do with like the Japanese audience was a little like, what at maybe some of the American stuff. And then the American audience is like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was, it was two in the middle of both, that both audiences were kind of like, maybe we don't like this.
I never thought of that. That's a great point. It's like, it couldn't do either one perfectly until you kind of succeed at neither, like, it's like, you're right. It is, you have like the Cesar Romero and Joseph Cotten and
which Cesar Romero is, he's doing the Joker.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
the
100%.
same. It's
Yeah.
like identical almost.
but in more comfortable clothing.
Exactly.
but
But he's so over the top, you know?
yeah. Oh, and that's one thing. It's like, I think one of the weak points in the plot, and I say weak point not as in like it takes away from the enjoyment, but like why maybe it doesn't get to that next level of, oh, this is like really good.
Yeah.
There's just not a like. I still don't know why Malik wants to take over the world. I just know he's an evil guy. Like it's Batman. It is very Batman, Adam West Batman type logic. You know, it's just like he's evil because he's evil. You know, and I think there's and it's like, and he has this amazing, you know, like whole island base and all the money he needs. Like we just don't know all this stuff. Like it's just, and he's 200 years old. And I think there's a couple things that fail, but I do think like there's not a lot of backstory or depth. I mean, other than like a couple throwaway lines from the McKinsey character. And I think that's a little bit like, I needed a little bit more. It felt to me, you mentioned it felt like a 50s sci-fi. Totally get that. What it felt like to me when I was watching it, it felt like a slightly longer episode of Star Trek, the original series, like including with the costuming, because there's a legitimate premise there that's like can be explored. Like there's the human race is not ready to receive, you know, what the best of the human race can do when they've removed money and greed and all this type of stuff. Like there is something to explore there. They have that. They don't necessarily do the best job in the time allotted to really convey that. And it's a little bit kind of like, just trust me, you know, just trust me that this guy's evil. Just trust me. And so I felt like, and also some of the dialogue kind of got a little Captain Kirky, but I really did feel like I was watching an original series episode, but just a little bit longer.
Yeah, I get that for sure. I also kept waiting for a kaiju to show up.
They do.
Well, I was like, he's got these other monsters, you know. I was like, oh, they're in a weird, you know, exotic place. I was like, where's the kaiju? Where's like what's the monster gonna be?
Oh, and boy, do you get one.
Well, you do get some monsters. Which it's weird watching him like do the experiments on the fucking like really awful looking lion and condor, and he like. So he cuts the wings off of this condor, sews them to a lion, and he's like, it's weird because the lion's out of frame, but he's like stabbing at it and shit. And he puts the brain of the woman in it. His assistant. His henchman. And then there's the weird Batman who I love the Batman. And I love the scene where they're fighting them all.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's very silly.
Oh, very silly.
But it's very fun. And they're like, they have these weird fire fists things coming out of their fingers, and they're like shooting them. And the Batman
the laser
like running into the wall, you know, it
slices his wing off.
It was my favorite part of the movie was watching them fight the Batman.
And it was not lost on me that the Joker had some Batman henchmen, and it was not lost on me. And we should have got Ryan Dole to be our special guest on this one. But yeah, the Batmen were, you know, the costuming was something out of Kamen Rider, but yet the whole fight scene was something out of Batman. That was funny. The Gryphon, and also like I love that. Like, here's just some serum to make you grow 3 times larger. I love the Gryphon for how bad it is. I mean, I really like it is like very like bad, like low budget Muppety. But like they just cram a lady's brain down in it. It does. I get where like U.S. audience even in 1969 would be like, oh, no. But you're right. Like it is fun. And the giant rats. Don't forget the giant rats.
The giant rats were cool, but I hated the sound they made. I was like, let me turn this down. And then they're just setting them all on fire. All right.
They just fall into like the acid river, the purple acid river. But
boiling them,
I know. But so aside from that, I mean, very limited kaiju action with the Gryphon. But I felt that like some of the other special effects, like you mentioned, underwater miniatures, was actually done really well. I thought some of the stuff was good.
So
now, I mean, look, in the 1960s, you're going to have like the long shots of them when they're on the jetpacks, where it's obviously little dolls going up and stuff. That doesn't bother me. We've seen enough of that. But for the most part, I thought overall it was the that stuff was done well. I love some of the sets. I mean, they were lavish and over the top and very, very evil villain when needed to be evil villain and very like utopian society. But what was the deal with the trampolines? They're always like great scientists apparently jumping on trampolines in the background.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lots of cleavage and trampolines.
How did it not do well? Yeah, I agree with you. I thought all that stuff kind of made like the watching all the underwater stuff, the costumes, the weirdness of it to me worked. I liked all of that.
So I have a question because this was the one part, and I think I would have liked the movie overall better. I'm always a sucker for like a good ending, right? Like it doesn't have to be a happy ending, but just a good ending, like to tie a bow on it. And I think that can help me overcome some weak parts to how we got there. You know, very Machiavellian. Their ends justify the means. And the one part I think I really struggled with was the ending, because at first, you know, you feel like you're going to, you know, it's a dream sequence. It's there, you know, because you see him on the boat, and then you see the McKenzie character as a captain. You even see the Malik character, and you feel like it's going to be like, you know, the Scarecrow and the Lion and the Tin Man, right? It's very Wizard of Oz, but yet then they do the twist on the twist, and they're like, oh no, somebody did give him the jewels and he has the money, so it did happen. His memory was erased or whatever. So it's like, which one is it? And I felt like that was unneeded. They should have gone with one or the other.
Yeah, because it comes across confusing.
Very confusing. And I was like,
yeah. So
did it happen? Or they just have doppelgangers just happen to also be on here? Like, what the hell? Malik is still alive, and now he's a good guy on the U.S. naval vessel. So that was the part. Like, I hated the ending. They tried to get too cutesy with it, and I think that actually did hurt it. And so it was like fun. Then, oh man, what the heck?
Yeah, I agree. It felt like they had a regular ending or something, and it felt like studio interference or something.
Yeah.
They were like, no, you guys got to do
one more
something.
scene.
You got to do something weird here at the very end. You know, so that's what I get from it. It feels like producer interference or studio interference, where they were just like, no, let's do one more crazy thing. But I agree. I don't like how it ends either, because it just comes out confused. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. It could have been streamlined a little bit. And
yeah,
I don't know. But other than that, whatever. It's good. Like, it's not, like I said, it's not something you're going to catch me like putting on all the time. But I could see myself rewatching this at some point.
Yeah. It would be a great group cosplay. The other
only at G-Fest, because nowhere else would anybody know what the fuck you were doing.
I don't even think people at G-Fest would know.
Probably not.
But the other thing is, to tie it back to like the kaiju, the toys, I do got to show you this one. This might change your mind.
Oh shit! Oh my god! I want that.
I know.
That's amazing. That looks better. Yeah. That looks better than it does in the movie.
Oh, 100%. So that is the Gryphon. That's from
awesome.
I think Butana Hana did that one. I don't remember. I think it's a vintage one, but it's very, very, very cool. I don't have it, and I really want it. Yeah, that thing is awesome. But yeah, I would love a McKenzie character with his scarf, or maybe his pipe and his hat. I don't know. And then a Malik with his flowing robes.
Some good stuff.
The best part about it is there is some really kind of like, you can laugh at how stupid it is in some ways. Like, I love the fact that he was excited to have the brain in the lion and the Gryphon because he could control it, but he put the brain in of the lady that he just double crossed. Like, come on,
right,
Malik, you're an evil genius. And some other things, but I mean, it's very. I mean, if you can handle the campiness, I think you'll like it. It's worth the watch. Visually, I think it's, Gryphon aside, I think it's still very, very, very fun. But treat it as a wacky, messed up, like late 50s to late 60s science fiction show. With some people you recognize, as opposed to a movie that is supposed to, really say something, because it just doesn't deliver on the theme as much as it could. Yeah, it honestly feels like they took a lot of popular pieces of content, Batman, Ultraman, shit like that, threw it in a bag, like shook it up, picked 5 things out, and we're like, all right, this is what we're making. Yeah. You know what would have been great? In fact, I think this movie could have worked if instead of the Toho part, take out Takarada and take out Harada, take out the Subaraya special effects. So take out the Batman you could keep in, but you can take out the rats, you can take out the Griffin. What if this was done as a Harryhausen type? What if the Griffin was stop motion?
I was I was just thinking about that because one of the thoughts I had, but I didn't say, was I wonder if American audiences who saw this, you said what's the day? It's like 60s.
69.
Was it early?
Yeah.
Okay, well 69. I wonder if people would have liked it better if it was stop motion, because stop motion is more, what the American sci-fi films were doing. Maybe a little earlier than that, but still.
Sinbad and I the Tiger was 71, so it
was it 71? Yeah, so I wonder if the movie would have came across a little better over here.
I think so.
If it was stop motion.
And I think so. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great point. You keep the Batman in because you have the Batman element there, like people in bad costumes. But for the monsters, like the larger than man-sized monsters, the Griffin and the giant rats,
and then throw a squid in, throw a giant.
Yeah, you have to throw a squid in.
Yeah, throw a giant squid in, and then that's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it would have opened up. He could have done like Harryhausen and that genre film. You had the Sinbad, you have the Greek mythology shows with obviously Jason and Clash and stuff, and now maybe there could have been a whole Latitude Zero underwater thing going on there with you have all these great animals or great monsters to stop motionize. I don't know, it'd be great, but yeah, I think that would have been a better movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
A more successful movie.
Successful, probably, for sure, and it would have. I mean, it would have fixed the Griffin problem.
The Griffin problem. We got to have, that's our new thing, man. When we see anything that's like the movie's good or the something is good, but just the monster is garbage looking, we'll just call it the Griffin problem.
The Griffin problem.
They have a Griffin problem.
Do you think when they were writing, so whenever they were writing the American Godzilla film that eventually became TriStar's Godzilla, and, for a long time, Godzilla was going to fight a Griffin.
Yeah.
Do you think it was because somebody saw Latitude Zero and was like, oh, shit, it'd be like kind of a callback to that? And then,
I took it the other way. They're like, we're going to do this. And then they saw Latitude Zero and they're like, nope, it's destined for failure. It's a cursed idea.
Nope, not doing it.
I think that Godzilla at Latitude Zero, Godzilla versus the Griffin. I think.
That's a good. Latitude Zero is a cool title. It's a cool title and it's a cool concept. Godzilla at Latitude Zero sounds awesome to me.
Yeah. It's like an anime. We like Singular Point, Latitude Zero. I mean, they all kind of fit. Yes, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Godzilla, to me, also Latitude Zero sounds like it should be really cold.
Yes.
To me.
Right.
So,
yes.
Godzilla in the snow. Godzilla looks good in the snow.
Yeah.
I think he does.
Godzilla in an underwater, fighting underwater in an underwater city against a Griffin. I love it.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Blood Rock on a jetpack in gold spandex.
Okay.
But yes, and kudos to those Japanese actors for doing their lines in English.
Yeah, that was the thing. When I started watching it, I was shocked. I was shocked that it was all in English. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was cool to see that side of those actors.
Because we always, the American actors, they always, they say their lines in English and they get redubbed or whatever. But sometimes they don't even deliver their lines in English that well. But you could imagine, like, what if they were having to do those? I mean, could you imagine like Nick Adams like rehearsing for Invasion of Astro Monster there and like watching Zero with like Kumi Mizuno or something, like trying to say his lines in half drunk trying to say his lines in Japanese? I don't think that's gonna happen. That would have been hilarious. But yeah, I kudos to them. It was good. It was fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think people should watch this film. I don't think, like, to your point, I don't think it's going to be like, oh my gosh, this is a game changer. I am now like, it's not going to give you the same effect that Yamato Takeru gave me. It's just not going to happen. But
true.
But I do think it's better. It deserves better than its terrible, terrible, terrible financial fate that it had. And if anything, for the wacky visuals, the zaniness of some of how the lines are delivered and what they're saying, and quite possibly one of the worst.
The costumes, dude. The
yeah.
costumes are. I can't stress enough how crazy the costumes are, and it's like there's a lot of them. It's like whoever was the costume department person was they were having a lot of fun, and they either already had these because there's like needless costume. I was like, well, who are these people? What are they wearing? Every costume, every scene, there's 6 new crazy costumes. So it's worth
very
seeing
bright
for that. Yeah.
And quite possibly the worst kaiju ever done by Tsuburaya.
Yeah.
That he signed off on.
And the best in the Batman. Batman are the best.
Yes. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's Latitude Zero in a very large nutshell.
Yeah, we'll call that it. Do you have anything else you want to add to that, or anything else before we get out of here?
No, just thanks for watching, like, subscribe, all the stuff, the usual stuff. You guys know how to do it by now. Yeah. Love us, please.
I did get on to Craig today about getting some shirts up in the below the collar. So hopefully soon we're gonna have some Monster Island shirts. They're gonna be in the YHS store, and once those go up, we'll have links to them and all that stuff. So as for now, you can't get them, but they're out there.
They're exclusive. Pre-orders. And we'll all be able to share our dislike for Manda. Let's just say that.
Yep, I can't wait. Yeah, and until next time, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks, and we're getting out of here.